The place, San Francisco, California. The date, October 20th, 2024. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Netrunner players. We are live. My name is Cranked. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joined by my partner.
I am Orbital Tangent, a.k.a. Josh, pronouns he, him. It is great to be here, Cranked, and I'm ready to see some Netrunner this morning.
Yo, yes, this is day 2 of the 2024 World Championships. This is where dreams are either made or broken. Goals are either achieved or not achieved, but a great time will be had by all. So the way that this day is going to play out, Orbs, we're going to see 3 extra rounds of Swiss for all the players that are still in contention for the top cut. After those 3 rounds, we are going to have that top cut. It's going to be a top cut of 16 players who are then going to compete in a double elimination bracket for all the marbles and the title of 2024 World Champion. And of course, the greatest prize in gaming, the opportunity to design your own card.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of notables in the field have done so already. We have quite a stacked event coming into the day. We're not at the top cut yet. I expect that to be equally stacked, but we have notables like Saka not going into this undefeated as he normally does. He did have a couple of defeats on the day, which was a wicked shocker to a lot of people.
Yes, sometimes, listen, sometimes even the best get tired. Sometimes even the best drop a game. But Saka's still sitting up there in second place according to the current standings.
Yep.
But what we're going to be seeing here in round 12 is a bit more of a win-and-in situation. We're going to see 2 players that are sitting on X and 4 that need to continue to win in order to have a chance at making the top 16. I believe the way the math works out is if you go to 5 losses on the day, your tournament is effectively over as far as contention for top 16. So on the table that we're going to be seeing here on stream, we are going to be seeing Plural representing Sportsmetal on the right side of your screen, and then turn left 25 representing Arisanna on the left side of your screen. Orbs, talk us through these matchups.
Well, so this is a very interesting matchup here. We have an HB, a Sportsmetal that is known at this point to do a little bit of core damage. So
yes, this is core sports.
This is core sports, and this is a brew that Plural I have from the pilot himself has been working on for many, many, many months. And then the other deck there, the Arisanna, I believe is your standard shaper Arisanna.
Yeah, this is kind of the most typical Arisanna that I would be expecting to see at this point in the tournament. This is a prognostic Q loop style of Arisanna. It's going to be doing just some shaper nonsense sort of things. It's got prognostic Q loop to be sort of installing cards from the top of the stack. It has all sorts of Trojans to be installed on the ice. The game is underway. We're working out a couple of technical difficulties here on the side, but we'll continue to talk about these matchups. The sports list, as Orbs alluded to, it's a core sports list, so it's looking to leverage core damage. To be able to set up whether it's a kill off of a card like Anemone, which I know is being splashed for, or it's just to be set up, or it's going to be setting up copies of Ontological Dependence. There we go. This game is underway. Looks like Sports starting off with Icing HQ, or Icing R&D, excuse me, a Greasing the Palm. Not sure what that last click was. I believe it was a click for a credit. We're seeing a Dirty Laundry into an unknown server. Looks like R&D based on Plural reaching for the ice here. This is a tough deck to face check into. I know Plural loves his Jaguarundis. Here's a copy of Slap Vandal coming down.
Yeah, no res on the ice, but just getting it set up in case that Vicinage comes down on the board. Really, that's a key part of the Arisanna economy. It is going to allow them to install things over and over and over again.
Yeah, it looks like a drafter was accessed on the top of R&D. Here's a Coalescence that's going to net effectively 2 credits.
Vernissage.
Pass the turn back over. We're over to Plural here. Let's see what Plural cooks up. Is that 2? Hang on, is that 2 upgrades on HQ? Or
it looks like it may be 2 upgrades.
Whoa!
Hopefully he didn't tuck those under and forget about them.
I don't think he's. What do you think those upgrades are, Mr. Hendrick?
They've got to be.
I would think so. It would not shock me to be seeing Mr. Hendrick in a core damage focused sports list. Here's a copy of Dr. Nuka, the good doctor.
Yeah, so one of the ways that this classically lands the core damage is not only the jump stat grid, it lands it by packing as many Hendricks as possible into one server so that you have to take core damage if you want to stop Plural from what he's doing.
Correct. You can lose all your clicks on the first one, but if you have no clicks to lose, then you're going to be taking one of those core damages. And speaking of Dupestad Grid, I know that's a card that Plural enjoys quite a bit, particularly scoring the Elifagar off of the Dupestad Grid. The 2-1 to just shoot you for a core damage seems pretty good.
Absolutely. And I would not be shocked if that is what is in the remote right now, setting up for those scores and those moves of those Hendricks.
Copy of Ika comes down. We see Jaguar Rundi getting flipped over from the bin off of an Archives run. Pass the turn back over. Here's the mandatory draw. That looks like a copy of Tattoo Bola going to hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So Plural might be making the determination here that Arisanna can get in anywhere. The ice is really paper in this deck, and there's not a whole lot of it. So there's only key pieces that you're going to want to keep. That Jaguar Rundi is just too expensive. And again, it's paper to Arisanna. So Tattoo Bola can be your economy. So it's still worth it to have that. But everything else probably just goes in the bin.
Jaguar Rundi going to be a much more live card once Threat is online here.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's going to take a long time for both players for this sports deck, as it plays a lot of one-pointers. So, you know, that's not going to be until we're deep into mid-game.
Here's a hedge fund. Plural doing quite well in money. Looks like sitting on 12 credits and really not a whole lot of things on the board that are going to cost money. Here's an ice install. Looked like the Tattoo Bola.
That would be my prediction as well. Again, it can jumpstart the economy, so it's a good card to have on R&D.
Here's a draw 3 from turn left. Let's see what he cooks up. Having to think here, Arisanna is traditionally a very thinky deck, at least in my estimation.
Yeah, it's very positional. You have to figure out where those Trojans are going to go. They do not break ice in multiples. They're very efficient for normally just single ice, so you have to move those chess pieces around, and you have to know where you're going and what moves to make.
Reina Roja could never. Here's a copy of Lily Pad, installing another Coalescence, going to net a draw for turn left and 2 credits.
Oh, so it looks like that remote is actually a spin.
Yeah, just a spin doctor in the remote. Here's a simul chip. Not sure what click this is. Looks like end of turn we're going to discard a copy of Muse. Card going to hand. I think that was the Elifagar.
It looked like it from that brief flash that we got.
So we're going to make a new remote. We're going to advance. Saying, do you have Clot?
Yeah.
Nope. Looks like Elifagar. I think Plural just happy to derez the Spin Doctor for 2 extra cards at some point in the future.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And get your money back, too.
Yep. Sports, it's tempo free, and you get to put that Spin Doctor right back down, so he can keep his hand filled. If he has no agendas in hand right now, he has R&D protected, so he can sit there safely. He can just sit back, and then he can do that spin right before his turn starts.
Here's DZMZ. I know Plural happens to love Elifagar in this deck. It's got a lot of good targets, not just Spin Doctor, but also, as I mentioned, I believe Plural is running Anemone in this deck as an extra way to jump scare the runner for 2 extra net damage out of nowhere, which, after just a few instances of core damage, could be lethal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a way to win. You can get that kill after Jubstat and Hendrick do their thing.
Looks like Muse coming down. I can't see what the card is. I believe that's the 3rd copy of Coalescence off of the Muse there at the bottom of your screen. Turn left got to be just screaming for a copy of Aesop's Pawn Shop.
Yeah,
at this
sorry
point.
To those watching. We will remind the players going into the next round that the mats are the bounds of where we can see. So we will get that fixed a little bit later here.
In the meantime, Plural get a re-res the Spin Doctor.
Looks like the
there we
player's
go.
doing it for us. Okay,
turn
cool,
left.
cool.
What a champion.
Not the people's champion, but a champion nonetheless.
We're going to draw again. Ooh, that's a copy of
Mindscaping. Yeah. Very spicy include in this deck. You're not often going to get the tags.
Unless Jaguar Rundi.
Yeah, Jaguar Rundi can, so it's not impossible, but it's not very likely. Probably more likely used for that first modal, which isn't often used in a lot of decks that we've seen today. They're more on it for the kill, but that can control the top of the deck, which is important for Sportsmetal.
Yeah, definitely. This is the kind of deck that can leverage both modes of this card pretty effectively, depending on the way the game is progressing.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the top 5 cards in the deck, I'd say.
Let's take a look at what Plural does here. It looks like click 1 was click draw. Oh, we got a copy of Cerebral Overrider in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like turn left is happy to let things cook on board, but we haven't seen what turn left will do when things are advanced on board. So Plural might be considering, do I test this person? Do I see how aggressive they are?
Yeah, let's take their temperature on what they're going to do with advanced cards on the board rather than unadvanced ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if it turns out they're aggressive, they might allow you to get those early core damage on that cerebral. If they're not aggressive, you might be able to advance on board and get away with it.
Looks like that's a copy of. We're going to fire Mindscaping to gain 2, draw 2, and reset the top of the deck. I believe the cards that went to hand were an NGO front, and the copy of Luminal Transubstantiation. Very powerful, limit 1 per deck HB agenda that effectively lets you take an extra turn with some limitations. So we're going to pitch some cards to the bin, pass the turn back over.
So Plural just slow rolling it, looks like. I wouldn't be shocked to see that an agenda went back on the top of the deck. They're waiting for the runner to make a move, possibly.
Ooh, here's Copulation. This is a good one.
Copulation can take some key pieces out of this deck. It can take the grids. It can take the Hendrix.
I believe this is a Laundry HQ. Mr. Hendrick, happy to do some work here. I think turn left. Let's see if turn left is expecting the Mr. Hendrix here. I have to think that's at least one of these are. Here's one.
It still fires. Yes, we can call a judge. Judge.
Oh, it looks like we're going to see a judge call. I don't know what this judge call is concerning. But we'll get this one sorted out as soon as we can, folks.
I think they're checking whether or not this had to be rezzed. But it is an ambush, and I believe the ambush rules do state that these don't have to be rezzed.
Yeah, based on the text on the card, I don't believe that Mr. Hendrick has to be rezzed in order for that text to be live. Okay, turn left opting to lose the remainder of their clicks on the Mr. Hendrick rather than take the core damage.
So it looks like there's probably a second Hendrick here, which will mean another core.
We're about to find out here very shortly. Trying to figure out if turn left is going to be trashing the Hendrick. 2 credits to do so. Now, notably, turn left is a credit short to trash this Mr. Hendrick, and this one's going to do a core damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
You don't want those Hendricks to stick around.
Brutal. There goes Turbine. I don't think that one's going to be too impactful, but we'll see.
Would you like to pay to host this? Yes. All right.
So it looks like
we're going to Copulation. Okay, that's how we're going to deal with the second Mr. Hendrick.
Okay, yeah. That's a good move. The Copulation, like I said, can get several key pieces. This Hendrick is probably just going to live on this Copulation now.
Biotic Labor accessed out of Plural's hand. Plural got to be thrilled to deal the first core damage. Turns your ontological dependencies into 3/2s. Helps to set up potential kills off of things like Anemone or Jaguarundi even. Install single advance. Another advance. Oh, pass the turn.
Wow.
Now, do we think this is the overrider?
This has got to be the overrider.
I think so too, but turn left has no idea that this is in Plural's deck.
Well, they may be thinking after seeing those Hendricks that it could be a core damage build.
Sure.
And that could be a suspected trap. It would also be the perfect time to have Plural take the temperature on agendas. Maybe Plural tries to get away with it. Because Plural can gain tempo back, and there aren't many points scored. So it could go either way.
Yeah, this could be really anything here. We did not get a good look at this card, so it's a mystery to us as it is to you, and a mystery to Turn Left as well. Turn Left going to get a second copy of Simulchip as well as an Urban Art Vernissage. Pass the turn back. Let's see what Plural does with this. He's not immediately reaching for his credits, starting to suggest that this may not be an agenda after all, or at least an agenda not worth scoring at this point. We're going to make a new remote.
It looks like we're going to get another install.
Here's another. Oh my gosh, another install advance. Let's just give Turn Left more things to think about.
Absolutely. And Turn Left has to be thinking now, what is this deck doing? What is this guy doing?
You're telling me I headed all the way to San Francisco, California to see this across the table?
Yeah. I'm going to flatline against a sports? What are you talking about?
Looks like Turn Left's going to bounce the Ika back to hand with Urban Art Vernissage, reinstall that off of Arisanna for a card off of the Lily Pad. That's just good value right there, folks.
So we saw a run on the Spin Doctor, and Plural...
Two face downs going back in.
Yeah, Plural's putting the 2 face downs back in.
Shuffling them back into the bin would be counterproductive.
Turn Left still does not, seems content to just let these remotes go. Does not want to play the remote game, at least at this juncture.
Well, the calculation that Turn Left might be looking at here is that this deck may not be playing a ton of 5/3s, and there's not a lot of points scored yet, so you can let a couple go.
You can, unless that 5-3 is salvo testing. That one would make a lot of sense in a build like this. Very, very aggressive 5-3, no defensive capabilities whatsoever, but the ability to turn the rest of your agendas into a core damage for the rest of the game, including the salvo testing, game-changing.
Okay, I'm going to scoot these two over. Go ahead.
Well, we'll have to see if Plural is on salvo testing. You're right. That would fit in the deck, but Sport's classically anti-synergy because you do want that ability to fire as many times as possible.
Definitely, definitely. The 5-3 does mean that the core damage may not fire as many times depending on your agenda sweep, but with a grip full of 1-pointers and ostensibly 2 extra Elifagars in the deck, I'll pay 2 credits to get a point and a core damage on you.
So if one of these on the table is an agenda, Plural may still just let it cook.
Absolutely.
Looking for that grid so that he can score it and then get a core damage in.
We saw the Luminal go to hand, so install Dubstad grid, advance, res Dubstad, score it. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, take an extra turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or rather get 3 extra clicks, but...
Well, classically, Luminal Transubstantiation is the one card in Netrunner that it does in fact say on it as its rules text, I am cheating.
Basically, yeah. Now, it doesn't say that. Like, you're not actually cheating, but you're cheating. It certainly feels like it.
Yeah, stream, that was in fact a joke. You're not cheating if you play Luminal Transubstantiation. It just feels like
Yeah, you
it.
can fact check orbs at any moment. You can go to your copy of System Gateway and pull up that limit 1 per deck agenda, and we can go to the Snopes on that one. Plural in the tank, pondering his options.
Okay, I'm going to install.
We're going to ice a new remote. It's empty for the moment. Let's see if he jams anything in there this turn.
Going to install.
There is a card going in that remote. Plural only on 6 credits. And there's another naked remote going out. Pass the turn back over, just giving turn left another thing to think about.
Yeah, presenting a lot of threats, asking for answers. Looks like Plural is looking to control the tempo of this game, even though turn left has quite a board on their side of the field. You see all the Simmel chips, you see the lily pad, you see the coalescences. There's just a ton down there. And now we're seeing breakers.
Yeah, there is ice installed on this board. Turn left is going to need a certain amount of breakers. Going to run the new remote with the 1 ice in front of it. Plural checking what that ice might be. We're going to flip over. We're going to go broke to res MIC. Oh, we're going to install Physarum Entangler on top of the MIC. Turn left can bypass that one for the low price of 3 credits. Now, it is worth noting, Plural can trash that in order to force the choice of end the run or lose a click, and it will also have the added effect of trashing the Physarum Entangler and saying you need to crack a Simul chip if you want this card back on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. It will do that, in fact, and also notably, it pairs very well with the Hendrix as well.
Absolutely, yes. Tough choice for Plural here. Now, we did see an NGO front go to hand at one point. Could one of these advanced cards also be an NGO front?
It absolutely could.
Turn left is would have to make an educated guess on NGO front being in the deck. I don't believe they've seen it at this point.
Okay.
Players deep in the tank. Very important game for both of them here. As I said before, they must win in order to stay in the tournament. There's ontological dependence scored for turn left.
Oh, wow.
Plural taking 2 credits off of the Sportsmetal trigger. Ontological a 3-2. This would have been the opportune moment to sneak it by. Turn left saying you won't get that one past me. Next click, we'll check the naked remote that was installed. That's a copy of Hyperloop. Plural generally happy to give those over. 5 credits.
Absolutely. Went from 0 back up to 7 here.
Yeah, after going broke for that MIC as well.
Okay, you got it.
Looks like final click for turn left is take a credit, pass the turn back over. Plural, I believe that was a copy of Project Vitruvius going to hand. Didn't get a great look at it, but it looked like the new art from System Update. Now, it is worth noting here, Plural is tracking the core damage for the runner. You can see that that core damage marker on the Sportsmetal ID, that very, very pretty Sportsmetal. I believe that's acrylic from Yakuza.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Yep. That is an older one of the first runs of Yakuza's IDs.
Looks like Plural opting to purge to get the Physarum Entangler off the board. Wants to keep the MIC on the board here, saying this one will be useful to me in the long run. Turn back over on turn left side.
Now, what is Plural waiting for by doing that purge? Like, what is Plural looking for to move forward in this game?
I think Plural's looking for threats again. Turn left has signaled that I'm not interested in the advanced remotes, but I'll go after the unadvanced ones because they can't be cerebral overrider. Ooh, we're going to crack the compilation. We're going to see 3 cards. Turn left's going to see 3 cards from HQ here.
Now, notably, between agendas, Plural does get to do the draw.
Looks like Biotic Labor. There's another Hyperloop extension.
We'll see if Plural does the draw
Yeah,
here.
Plural could draw here.
Cool for you. Judge.
Looks like we're going to get another judge call. This could be about the timing of the Sportsmetal trigger. This now, if I'm not mistaken, this would happen right now before the 3rd card is accessed. So if Plural wants to draw, this is the time to do it. Reshuffle the cards.
Yep. It is a nested trigger, so I do believe that draw does happen before the access.
Turn left sitting on 4 points. The Afrobesh and Salvo testing, or any 3-pointer, is lethal at this point. Players getting the judge call sorted out. Remember, folks, if you're ever in doubt about a rules interaction, even if it seems like the simplest thing in the world, please raise your hand and shout for a judge. They are there to help you. Not going to draw. There's a Dupestad grid. Turn left can trash that one, opting not to, though. No fear.
2 is draw.
And it looks like that was just for the clarification, but it looks like Plural did, in fact, grab credits.
Okay. Turn left still with 3 clicks remaining to their name. Pondering what they're going to be doing with them. Checking MU. Lilypad, DZMZ giving you plenty of memory for all of your fun programs. Here's an SMC. Possibly the most fun program there is. Pass the turn back over. Discard an extra copy of Urban Art. We don't need that one anymore. Here's red level clearance going into Plural's hand off the mandatory draw.
Getting the dubshet in the remote for free if that's what Plural wants to do.
We are firing off the red level clearance. Looks like the first mode is draw 2. Plural pondering his options for the second mode. Certainly could be the Dupestad grid going into a remote.
1 court.
Now again, if one of these 2 advanced cards is a 3-2, this would be an opportune moment to install that Dupestad grid and score and potentially hold up another core damage.
Absolutely.
Can't tell what the second mode was.
We're seeing another red level.
Here's a second red level.
So Plural is digging, choosing to do 2 cards on that red level as well.
I wonder what Plural's digging for. Could be another agenda. Looks like we're going to install a card off of the red level clearance. Now, Turn left knows that that one's not an agenda because, well, red level clearance says it couldn't be.
Absolutely.
I believe Plural may have taken the click off of the first red level, still with 2 clicks remaining.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Now, if you're in Plural's seat, what are you looking for here at this point? Again, we don't know what's in that remote.
I think you want to set up the dupe chat. It looks like he might be
Biotic
going for
Labor?
a score.
Install.
Install? Advance?
Okay.
Advance?
Advance.
Hold on. This looks like, okay, pop the
It's an
NGO
NGO.
front. Okay, this is I think we're going Dupestad
It does look
into,
like
into an Elifalger?
Residue.
There's Dupestad. Turn left saying, yeah, I know. I'm taking a core damage.
So you called it. One of those was an NGO.
There's the Elifalger, Plural going up to 2 points and dealing the second core damage. This is generally the one that is the most
Getting
important.
the trick shot.
Trick shot
Wow.
out of hand.
And pass turn.
Opting not to derez anything off the Elifalger makes sense. No really good targets on this board state. Pass the turn back over. Plural got to be absolutely jazzed that he's got that second core damage marked on turn left.
Yeah, that second core damage is going to limit turn left's options a little bit. And if there is a third, it's going to be absolutely devastating.
The third one, you are in dire straits at that point.
Although turn left does have quite a board down here already, so a lot of the key pieces are there. But it does look like Plural has confirmed that there is not Clot to worry about.
Yeah, Lilypad also another good way of drawing cards suddenly, partner. Here's a copy of Buzzsaw. That's going to deal with Code Gates.
So we have the Breaker Suite almost fully online here.
Pretty close to it. The SMC sort of representing the killer.
Turn left is a little low on credits.
Little low on credits. The Urban Art Vernissage is doing some work here, providing some extra credits just for installing cards. But again, it's for installing any cards. It's not have to be programs. It's not limited to any particular card type here. Turn left,
Absolutely.
pondering their options. Looks like we're going to charge the MIC, saying, I've had enough of the Dupestad grid.
And
Using Arisanna to install Ika. Popping a simul chip. Has a program been trashed this turn? I can't tell. Turbine's coming down.
And I'll break for 2 credits.
This program may have been trashed. May have missed that one.
Sorry, how are you paying 1? Simul chip reduces the...
It looks like the players are discussing the rig here. There might be an MU question.
Looks like we're at 7. I think turn left is at exactly 7 MU. Lilypad providing 2 and the DZMZ providing the 7th.
Okay.
Now I think we may be over. Unfortunately, we in the booth are unable to bring these up, but
Last click is draw. All right, where do you go? Cards in hand. 3 cards.
yeah, unless I'm missing an extra source of MU, I believe turn left is over on MU in this board state, but hopefully our players catch that one
I think it's
sooner rather than later.
for missed triggers.
But in any case, the game. Oh, looks like we're gonna get a judge call. Unsure what this is about. If it is it looks like a missed trigger on the environmental testings. Yeah, at least a couple of programs and/or hardware have entered the game since that environmental testing.
Now, I wonder if the judge is going to...
Judge may catch the MU discrepancy here as well. Now, granted, turn left does just have an empty coalescence that they can pitch, so it's not the end of the world, but this is technically an invalid board state. Yeah, turn left saying I believe 2 programs have entered the game since the environmental testing hit the bin, both the turbine and the cupellation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you installed these programs this turn? Turbine and cupellation. And then you ran and you stole Yes. So this was already on the table. Yes.
Big thank you to all the volunteers acting as the judging staff this weekend. They have been absolutely killing it.
Yeah, the judging staff has been absolutely incredible. They've been really precise on their calls, really careful to make sure that both players are represented in those calls and having fun. It can't be stated enough. I know you've stated it already, Cranked, but anything you need, you call a judge. You make sure that you get those board states resolved to the satisfaction of both players, or maybe not the satisfaction, but in a fair way so that you can continue forward and have the fairest game possible. We all make mistakes.
I think the
There's
judge
no
is
shame.
counting the MU. Look at you can see the judge pointing at the programs here.
Last click I took was to draw a card.
Yeah, again, the judges are not there to gotcha anyone into just sudden game losses. They want to make sure the Netrunner is played clean.
Absolutely.
And just according to the rules of the game. They're not there to punish anyone. They don't play favorites. At least they ought not to be.
Absolutely.
And thankfully, this judging staff, like I said, has been just class acts all weekend.
Absolutely, they have. They've drawn 4 cards all weekend.
Sometimes 5.
Sometimes 5. Yeah. And they've done a really great job at judging. Yeah, definitely got to echo. It's not about a gotcha. It's about the fair play, and we are all going to make mistakes, especially after long days, especially after long weekends. So it's about resolving those mistakes and moving forward with competitive integrity.
Yeah, anyone who's ever played a Netrunner event, whether it's 4 events or whether it's 4 games, or whether it's 14, can tell you that Netrunner is an absolutely exhausting game to play mentally. So mistakes are bound to happen, and judges are there to clean it up, and that's okay. We thank them for their service. It looks like we're still resolving this judge call here. And by the way, these players, the time may get extended as a result of this judge call, and we'll get that sorted out as soon as we have more information as to what is happening here. Really interesting matchup so far, partner. I hope we can continue to see this one play out.
Yeah, absolutely. I do hope that we don't have the saddest outcome, which is a game loss.
Yeah, me too. This would be a heartbreaking way to have effectively your tournament end. Okay, looks like we're just going to fix the board state by trashing a program. This is a very clean way of resolving it.
Yep.
Plural saying, "Hey, I'm good with that too. That makes sense. Let's keep playing. I want to win. I want to win."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, lots of Netrunner players also class acts. They don't really want to win on a game loss. They want to win by saying, "Hey, I actually beat you."
Yes, yeah. And anyway, we are back underway. Plural taking his mandatory draw. Looks like a blade of barrier going hand. We are at threat. This is a really good way to get Mr. Hendrick back on the board, partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That Hendrick also being way, way more threatening now that there's 2 core. So Ablative would be doing a ton of work here.
Plural pondering options yet again.
Install and 1.
Install behind the MIC. Take 2 credits saying, hey, you want to come check this? It'll cost you a lot.
Yep. And we have only 2 on the environmental, or not 2 on the.
It is 2 on
Yeah,
the
it is 2 on the
environmental
environmental
yes.
testing. So that is not crackable right now. It would take it at least maybe a click, possibly 2, to up those credits. We have
Looks like-
turn left on 20 on 4 credits.
Yeah,
so,
selling the SMC to ESOP. Happy to pay 3 credits for that.
yep.
No problem. Perfect. Thank you.
But that MIC is still looking a little bit threatening, even with that turbine down.
Even with the turbine down now, there still is a Physarum Entangler in the bin that is accessible to turn left for the low price of a simul chip, if he can find one. Here's a copy of Propeller.
Oh, no, because you pulled the ecovac. Pulled the ecovac and
I believe MIC is going to cost a paltry 2 credits for this turbined up buzzsaw to get through, but giving Plural some leverage over whether or not he wants to fire that trash ability. Putting 4 power counters on the Propeller, the very powerful and lean barrier breaker, though it is a limited resource.
2 credits, but I believe the grid is 4 to trash, correct?
The grid is 4 to trash, although it's 1 kind of with Cupellation, which you can see it living in that cup right now. Plural checking the text and Propeller saying, is that a Fractor? What does that one do? Looks like we're going to discard it. Can't tell if that's a discarded copy of Spec Work for hand size or whether it were firing off the hand size. I believe Turn Left is using it. Okay, we're just going to trash that Propeller right away. Well, it was nice knowing you. Oh, I love the flex of turning the Propeller counters into credits. Gotcha. It was money all along. It's like 1 click left remaining on turn left side. We're going to, looks like run HQ. Is this last click or is this 3rd click? Install Eco off of Arisanna. We'll find out in a moment if this is the last click.
Yeah, we'll see.
Looks like we're going to pop the Cupellation here.
So, you see all 3, right?
Order matters. Here's a Blade of Barrier.
2 stays.
Audacity. And there's Jaguarundi. HQ
Okay.
is dry.
Completely dry, bone dry.
So now I think we can reasonably conclude that 2 advanced card is Cerebral Overrider.
Yeah, it does look like that is Cerebral Overrider. It doesn't look like we had that trashed at any point, unless it was one of the face downs. Another Abuliv, I think, coming into hand.
That looks to be accurate. Plural flicking the card, saying, "How do I navigate my way out of this one?"
I'm wondering what's in the remote here.
All right, we got the triple threat on the judge call here. Turn left, making the judges work today. I love it.
Absolutely. It's a
I
missed
think
trigger on the
it's
environmental
another
testing
environmental
again.
testing miss trigger.
So a judge does, for a similar call and miss trigger, they do have the ability to. It's not a gotcha, but it is a more severe penalty. Basically, tell the player, I allowed you to take it the first time. I can upgrade that now to not allowing you to take that trigger.
I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further.
Sometimes those escalating judge calls are a way of getting the player to track the game state a little bit more accurately, reminding them that is important. Missed triggers are not a thing that you can do over and over again without escalating consequences.
Yes.
And again, it's not a gotcha thing. It's to prevent the idea of using missed triggers as a way of cheating and angle shooting the game.
It's a way of preventing gotchas on some level.
Yeah. It's not allowing the player to do a gotcha.
Yes, precisely.
Absolutely.
And it looks like, I think the judge call is cleaned up by saying, yep, it's a second miss trigger this time, no environmental testing trigger. Please don't miss it again.
Absolutely.
All right, turn back over on Plural's side. Look, I believe click 1 was just an extra card. Checking archives. Confirming, yes, I do have targets for a Blade of Barrier. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Click 2.
Plural tanking pretty hard here, though.
Another draw. Couldn't get a good look at what that one was. Possibly an agenda. No, it's a copy of Greasing the Palm.
Something on HQ?
Now, we did just hear a time call for 5 minutes left in the round. I believe there may have been a time extension here. So we're going to get, I believe the clock you see on screen is accurate. So our player's still working with about 6.5 minutes left in the round. Here's Conduit. This is turn left saying, I have to win, and I'm going to win by scoring 7 points by hook or by crook.
And turn left, making sure to get that environmental testing trigger now.
Yes, yeah. So turn left, hopefully not missing that one anymore today. Drawing off the lily pad. Now, we've seen a decent amount of influence coming through on Plural side. A copy of Audacity, 4 influence, a copy of Mindscaping is 2. We know there's, I believe we know there's anemones in the deck as well and Tattoo Bolas.
Tattoo Bola.
I don't know if Turn Left needs to respect a card like Snare from this position.
No, absolutely not.
Getting through the Tattoo Bola for just a single credit off of this Cleaver. See if Plural wants to swap this one out. Opting to and gaining the extra money. Very interested to see what this bottom ice is. We saw a drafter very, very early on. Here is the drafter.
Yep, drafter.
Let's see if Turn Left has a way of getting through this one. No simul chips on the board, so it would need to come from hand.
Ika.
Looks like there's an Ika at the bottom of our screen. Looks like we're going to see 1 card off of this. It's a copy of Spin Doctor.
And it's getting trashed.
Right to the bin he goes.
I believe there was Spin Doctor in hand, however, so that can get spun back into the deck if that's what Plural wants to do.
Definitely. Looks like there was a further time extension issue to our players, working with about 8 minutes left on the clock here. So
we're seeing a Jaguar Rudy.
Ooh, there's Jaguar Rundi on the run back. And we are at threat. Here's a tag. Now, this is a double sentry server, which is a little awkward for Ika. This is going to get expensive very quickly. Yeah, because we have to move it between these 2 pieces of ice. That costs 2 credits every single time. Plural doing a really good job of emptying out Turn Left's money. Now, but we are going to see 2 cards off of this conduit, I believe. There's one. Can't get a good look at that one. That's an NGO front.
That's getting trashed.
Absolutely.
So Turn Left's credits, kind of a little bit all over the place. They did have a bunch of them previously. There was a 5. It's getting changed out now.
Clearing the tag, respecting a greasing the palm, I think.
Absolutely.
Or just respecting, I would like to keep my pawn shop open, please. Or my urban art vernissage open to the public as well.
Absolutely. Plenty of things that Plural could do with a turn when Turn Left has a tag.
None of them good. None of them good for Turn Left.
No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That Aesop's going away is definitely not what you want to see as Turn Left.
Aesop's has been open since 2012, and we got to make sure he stays in business. Plural in the tank a little bit, pondering his options, reaching for a card. There's a hedge fund, starting by moneying up. Money is a threat in and of itself. We're going to continue to ice R&D. If that's a 3rd century, this conduit not looking so hot.
Absolutely. What is the over-under on the second Jaguar Rundi?
Second Jaguar Rundi would be pretty backbreaking here. With the threat active, you either have to take tags or lose clicks. You can't really afford to do either. 2 tags starts getting very awkward to score. Losing 2 clicks makes cards like Ikawa Project, if we happen to see it, unstealable. And is just going to be a continued pain in the neck if Mr. Hendrick happens to show his face again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe there's likely to be a 3rd copy of Mr. Hendrick somewhere to be found.
We're seeing another environmental testing.
Turn Left saying, I'm going to install 4 more things. Can't get a good look at what that bottom one is quite yet. Oh, we're running the 2 advanced card? This late in the game, we're checking the 2 advanced card? Oh, it's a prognostic Q loop at the bottom of the screen. Reinstall the Ika off of the Q loop? That's another card, but if this is Overrider...
No, it looks like it might be the MIC that's getting run.
Is it the MIC? Okay, it looked like Turn Left chopped the middle card that has the 2 advancements on it. It is. Plural's pointing to it. Oh my goodness. It's an Overrider.
No, that is not what you want to see.
Absolute jump scare moment for Turn Left.
Oh.
3 credits, 2 more core damage, 4 core damage sitting on Turn Left at the moment.
That is gotta be gutting.
That was click 3? Yes. Okay.
Turn Left sitting there, no cards in hand, saying, how did it come to this?
As Turn Left, what are you thinking right now?
Nothing. The Overrider is the Overrider. My brain's been overwritten by that Overrider.
Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose so. Oh, wow. That has just got to be devastating.
Oh, no. Drawing back up, singular card in hand. Pass the turn back over. Plural now, it's suddenly in a much more commanding position, but with only 4 minutes left on the clock, it is a factor.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Turn Left showing a copy of Spec Work. Not sure what's going on. Plural taking his mandatory draw. There's a copy of Greasing the Palm. Clicking to draw. That's ontological dependence, I believe. Plural
wow.
Plural can score that right now. That's a 1-2.
Are we going to
Is
see
that an upgrade?
Tubestat?
Tubestat puts turn left to 5 core damage. 0 hand size. No, it's just going to be an ontological score.
Ontological. Okay, so they are tied up. They
This
are
game
tied up.
is tied. Just above 3.5 minutes left. Now, I don't know what a tie does to the cut math for these players.
I think a tie puts both players out of contention.
Oh, buddy. Now, Plural, but the thing is are all there may still be an Elifagar in the game here. We see 2 of them on the board, both sitting in Plural score area, I believe.
Both players, it looks like, are gonna have to play for a win. I believe that these players are near the bottom of the day 2s. So
Yes, both these players sitting at X and 4, so I think they have to. I think you're right. They may have to win out in order to be in top contention. Folks, we got a real game on our hands. Here's a copy of Trick Shot. Now, this important to note, this does not combo with Conduit. Conduit is a click ability. You have to click the Conduit to see those extra 2 cards for each virus counter. It's Tattoo Bola.
Tattoo Bola.
Okay. So we're going to break that for just 1 off of the Trick Shot. Trick Shot giving you 4 credits up front as free real estate.
Plural swapping.
Plural swapping, getting some extra money. We're going to reinstall the Ika off of the Arisanna ability, get an extra card. Now, that's huge. The extra card might be very critical here. Now, there is an on-encounter ability from this Jaguarundi. Okay,
Yeah,
we're going to turn left opting to take the tag. Now, I don't know that turn left has seen any tag punishment short of Greasing the Palm. Going to move it to the 2 cards. Here's 1. That's the game.
That's a game. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh. Congratulations to turn left, snatching victory, and the 3rd ontological sitting in Plural's hand, as well as the luminal transubstantiation. Plural just needed 1 more turn to very likely lock this one up, navigating his way into a position where turn left looked like they were defeated, but turn left just touch agendas.
Yeah, just touching agendas. It turns out that's how you win Netrunner.
Sometimes it doesn't matter how much core damage you've taken. Only
Yeah.
the last one matters.
Winning notably on 4 core and not being ESSA.
Yes. Maybe achievement unlocked? How often does that happen these days? No stim hack anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was wild.
So unfortunately, that does mean that Plural is very likely out of top cut to contention, but an absolutely masterful performance from Plural. Plural, a member of the NSG staff. I believe he's responsible for the upkeep of resources like Netrunner DB. Any others? Netrunner DB for sure.
So Plural is part of the entire web dev team, being not only responsible for Netrunner DB, but things like Cobra.
Oh, sure.
And then also, it is owned by another community member, Necro, but there are integrations with Always Be Running as well. So Plural does a lot of work behind the scenes.
Bang up job, and he's just the best guy. I play against Plural very frequently. Plural, a fellow Wisconsinite out of the Milwaukee area. I'm in Madison, so I see Plural all the time in the Wisconsin area. It's such a stand-up guy. By the way, just masterful performance this weekend from him. He has been grinding out this core Sportsmetal deck long before it was a real tournament staple. I believe he even took it to last year's Worlds.
Absolutely. Yep.
And when it was really just a rogue brew. Now it's a little bit more than a rogue brew. Now it's a threat, and that game, despite the loss, should prove why it's a threat.
Yeah. It's a tough deck to navigate your way around. It does have ways that it can just make the game not in your favor. It was a fantastic game. Thanks everybody for watching. We're gonna go ahead and cut away. We gotta wrap this up so we can get to the next round. We'll see you later. Thanks for being on Plural, and I'll be off the next round.
Stay hydrated.